My name's Andrew from WinSport Bike Park. Talk about bike checks today. Before you get up the chairlift, head onto the trails, you want to make sure everything's in working order. So we're going to talk you through how to check your bike. First things first, you want to check the helmet. Make sure you have no cracks in your helmet, make sure the padding's all in good place, and obviously that it fits you. The next thing we want to check to make sure we don't get to the top of the chairlift and have a bike that needs some repair is just working through the bike itself. I'm going to start by just looking at the wheels, okay, grabbing hold of the wheels and just making sure that they're not wobbling, okay. That'll tell us if the wheel's nice and tight. You can move up here and start to check the brakes. So first, by pulling on the front brake, start to push the bike forward, you see the back tire lift. Shows you've got good grip there. Pulling on the back brake, sliding the tire, you see the back tire's locked out. Again, showing me that my back brake is working well. From here, holding both brakes, start to push down on the suspension. Okay, get a sense of how that's moving, how that's working, if it feels a bit tight. Working through here to the back of the bike, you can start to push down on the rear suspension if you have a full suspension bike. Again, just testing to make sure it's nice and smooth. Looking down here at the cranks, you want to make sure the bottom bracket's nice and tight, the cranks are nice and tight, so just grabbing hold of them and making sure there's no movement there. And while we're down here, checking your pedals too, just to make sure there's no additional movement that you don't need. As you work through the back, I always like to check my calipers where they're on the brakes there, just to make sure that, again, they're nice and tight. Obviously with some of these terrain, things can come loose quite easily. If you have a dropper post, just hit the button, make sure it works efficiently. Up and down, okay? And before you get up on the trail, you can use this little grassy area just to flick through your gears, just to make sure that they're working efficiently before you get up there. And as you do that, just making sure that your derailleur has no movement in it. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Our information desk is located in the access area. Another good thing to check as you're here, if you've got a little multi-tool on you, is just making sure all the bolts on your bike are nice and tight. And what you can sometimes do is just pick up your bike, give it a drop, see if you hear any weird noises. So we also want to check our headset to make sure there's no movement. So you want to put your hand around the headset itself, just hold that brake and just move your bike back and forth. We're looking for no movement in there just to make sure it's nice and secure. Also want to look at our tire pressure. So getting a good feel, making sure the tire's set for the conditions. If the tire's too hard, you're going to lose some traction. If the tire's too soft, you stand a greater chance of getting a flat tire. Tire pressure will change as the conditions change out there too. Lastly, we're going to talk a little bit about your suspension. How your suspension is set can and will affect how the trails feel. You want to make sure your suspension is set for you, for your weight, and for your style of riding. If you're unsure on how to do this, head to your local shop like Cycle, and they'll be able to help you out with that. The other big thing we want to make sure is that your bike is designed for what we're here for, okay? We have a full suspension bike here. It's designed for mountain bike trails. If your bike's not up for use on these mountain bike trails here at the bike park, please feel free to head into our rental shop and they'll be able to kit you out with something suitable.